What is up, guys? Bob Gar here, doing a little bit of a vlog like all the kids do these days. Maybe I should move this over like this. I don't know which direction to move this. Yeah, there we go. That looks good. Now I'm like kind of centered. Yeah, I wanted to do a little vlog about where I've been the last couple weeks and what I've been doing. Channel updates, stuff like that. Not a lot of super exciting news. Last weekend, not this, I guess not the last weekend from when you guys are hearing this, the weekend before that, I spent pretty much all weekend at this 48-hour game jam. Ended up really tired. This is the game jam page for me, my profile page. So as you can see, I kind of did a bunch of things back in 2013, 2014. These are some really funny games. If you ever want to try them, I'll go through and talk about each of the old ones just for a second so you know what they are. Heart Attack I made in like an hour or two in the middle of the night when I was making this game too. It's just a very simple like bullet hell game. You play a heart that moves around the screen. You shoot hearts at other hearts. Very silly. Didn't take me long to do. It was actually a lot of fun to play, but it was a flash game, I think. And Gorgeous George was also a flash game. I helped brainstorm it with people. I did actually almost no programming on this one, which was pretty fun. I let the kids do most of the programming because this was back when I was working, I think, on Disney Fairies Hidden Treasure. I was lead engineer, and I was working like 60 to 70-hour weeks every week. And I went from working a 60-hour week into a 48-hour game jam because I was crazy. I was really crazy back then. But I loved game jams, and I didn't want to miss it, even though I'd worked a 60-ish hour week. I was like, I'm doing it. So I went there. I didn't program very much. I think this is the only game I actually programmed. This I like helped design, helped them stay motivated, talked through various ideas with them, and I did like the voice acting. I think I'm the voice in it. And the name is ridiculous. But the game itself is basically you're given a little picture up here, and basically you have a certain amount of time to match it. So it goes, I can't tell what this says, but they'll say things like, punt the football, and so you need to make your foot really big. And so what these little things here are their valves on your body that let blood go through, and when they're red you're kind of like taking blood out of them, and blue is where you're pumping blood to it, so it gets bigger when it's blue, and it basically takes away from the ones that are red. It was pretty neat. It was a really fun game. It was really good, and this was actually a 24-hour game jam, so this was even crazier to get done, but we did it. We did it, and we did a really good job, I thought. And Gorgeous George, because you're engorging the limbs, I think is the idea there. Blue Ribbon I made the year after in 2014 with a coworker of mine, Justin Purcell. He does a lot of magic stuff. I think he's a judge, so you may know him if you are in the Northeast, or I don't know. I actually don't know what he's doing in terms of magic judging these days, if anything, but he used to be a judge. And this is called Blue Ribbon. So the idea of this game is you're driving a car around a track, and every time you take a lap around, you take another drink of alcohol, and the world gets more and more distorted, and it becomes harder and harder. Think about after 4 or 5 laps, the controls reverse, so it gets really hard to control, and you have to like, I don't know, something about reversing control screws with your mind because you're just so used to going the other direction. So this one was really fun too. It looked pretty cool. And then this is the one we did this year, called Infected. I'll show it to you right now. We did this in Unity. Here's me with my team of cool guys. And this is what the game itself looks like. Basically, you choose one or more objects to infect, and you have certain goals for the level. You usually either destroy all of the things by making sure everything gets infected and dies off, get a certain balance of different infection types. And we didn't really reach its pinnacle, but it was pretty fun to work on. Here's the play now link. And yeah, I'll play a level or two just to show you what it's like. I also did a video like this a month or two ago. I think December. I did Ludum Dare, and I did a game called Stack Thief for that. You can go back out and check that video if you want to see what Stack Thief is all about. That might be one of the game jams I was actually most proud of myself for. I thought Stack Thief worked out really well. So yeah, let's select level 1 just to show you how this game works. So there's all these things bouncing around. The goal is to kill all 17. You can't really tell what the goal thing means, but click here to select the color, which is this green, and then I select the thing to infect, and then there are basically rules for how they break apart and spread, and there's a physics engine going on underneath that causes them to bounce around, and your goal is to this one is just to kill off all the little doodads, so I'm going to win this one in a second. And then this one's an even more fun one in my opinion. This is the only level that I designed, but it's the one level I designed out of there's only 5 total. This one's just super explosive. Again, it's just the goal is I think to get 90% infected at once. So We did it, but it just like explodes everywhere, and there's that really satisfying like bloop 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 sound. And I'll show you one more level. Let's do this one. This one's a harder one. I don't actually remember how to do this one well, but you need to get like 30% on each side, so I'll probably lose this one. I'm trying to wait till a good time. Let's do now. Oh, now I need to do this one. Hey, we did it. So that one takes a little bit more like puzzly and timing, and pretty interesting game. I thought it was a lot of fun. It definitely came out pretty, like one of the more pretty games out there. Didn't quite get the goals to be as apparent to people. Like if you're playing this game, you kind of just be like, I click on stuff, I guess stuff happens. Occasionally it told me I won. But yeah, you know, it was a game jam game. We only had 48 hours. We didn't have time to do everything we wanted to on it. But I'm still pretty proud of it. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is I think we kept changing our minds about what we were doing. We spent a long time on art integration, which I did pay off. The art is really good. And then we probably overcomplicated it, which I think was a lot of my fault. I kept being like, we can have different goal types and all this stuff. And it's like, we should have just made a really simple game well. So we should have just been like, the goal is to get rid of all of them. And if we did that, then maybe there's even, you never have multiple types. If you just did that, then this would probably be, we would have had more time to work on levels and make them interesting and maybe think of other things we could layer on top of that didn't require a bunch of extra explanation and thought, because I think that would be much easier to teach somebody. But yeah, it came out pretty well. I liked my team. I had a really good time hanging out with them. They were all really cool guys. I guess if I go back a little bit, I can show you. Oh, here we are. This is obviously me. I'm wearing a Kicking It Old School t-shirt. Mario's kicking a turtle shell there. Art Muffin is a former coworker. He actually was at Hit Point when I started at Hit Point 2, which was when Hit Point was founded. He was an artist for us. Since then, he has moved on to some other things. Big Broken, that's this guy here. And Cybernaut is this guy. He's a really good artist. He seems like a really good programmer. He's moving to Houston to do programming stuff, and he's I don't actually know what he's doing these days, but he's doing a lot of cool art. So that was my team, and I was happy with it. So other things I wanted to talk about. What else happened this week? I wonder if I can turn off this green screen. What happens when I turn off the green screen? Oh, there's no good way to, I don't think. Well, one thing I wanted to show you guys, and I guess maybe I'll just type it in Cube Tutor. Let's go to my cube and take a look. So one thing I did was I made a ton of different changes to my cube over the last week, and one of the more interesting ones was I decided to, I had been running, I'm showing you the wrong ones. I had been running these trilands, a full set of them. Actually, I'm going to go small again so you can actually see these, huh? I've been running these trilands, and I decided to switch off to running the new manlands, mostly because they're cheaper than the old manlands, and I just don't happen to have all the old ones. I have like one or two, but I have the blue-black one, Creeping Tarpet, but I don't have Celestial Colonnade, which I think is the really expensive one. So yeah, I was like, well, these are really cheap. I think I had literally all of them already, so I would put these in over the Trilands, and I tried putting in the Cycle Lands, which are pretty neat. I like the Cycle Lands a lot because you can fetch them with the Fetch Lands. I have all 10 Fetch Lands in the cube. But I had this problem with Irrigated Farmland, and I'm gonna give you a picture and see if you can tell the difference between that version and my version. Can you see it? Can you see the difference? I actually think this card turned out amazingly well. So my girlfriend made me this card. Basically, I'd done the same thing, except I did add just like a little teeny piece of paper and stuck it over the card that's in here, which is I think actually Glacial Fortress, which is still a really good card. Like you could just play Glacial Fortress in cube and it would be fine, but I wanted to play Irrigated Farmland. I was like, I'll just proxy it. I don't proxy very much, but don't mind proxying this one. And I showed it to my girlfriend. I was like, see, I have Irrigated Farmland. I don't need to bother running out to the store and trying to buy one. And she was like, I'll make you one that actually looks nice. And so she made me this, which is very pretty. And I was very proud. Everybody who was drafting, even though I sent them a picture ahead of time, apparently they didn't read our Facebook chat. They got to it and they were like, Kevin, what is this? It's like, it's an Irrigated Farmland. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. Anything else I want to talk about? I want to put out some more series of videos, some more budget decks. I'm going to. I probably will have time this weekend. So basically, last weekend was Game Jam. This weekend, I was working on work stuff. I don't think I'm allowed to show you anything about it, but lots of stuff that's relatively new to me. Doing a lot of HTML5 stuff, which it's fine, but I don't know it well. It's not super exciting, or it's not super good or super bad. But yeah, one, I don't know it that well, and two, I'm doing things that obviously aren't the way normal people do things. Just like the artists want certain things to look really nice and all these different plugins to work nicely together, and none of it's really quite there in the framework I'm using. So I'm having to do a lot by hand in terms of just like, oh, there's no documentation. Let's open up their JavaScript file that isn't compressed yet, and because it's an open source thing, and let's read through it and figure out what all the pieces do, and then try to make it work and try to hack it in somehow. So a little uglier than I would normally like to do, but it is working. It's coming out pretty well. So that was a big push for that on Monday, and I have another big one for Thursday. So I'm probably not doing much more until the weekend. Although Thursday I might take off because it's my birthday. Guess how old I'm turning? I'm not going to tell you. I'm too old. You don't want to know. You don't want to know how old I am. I'm embarrassed about how old I am. I don't know how old I look, but I'm pretty old. But yeah, I don't think I'm doing anything super special for my birthday. I might try to take the day off just because I've been working a lot. I worked like probably 16 hours this weekend, which is not usual. Like the place I work is actually really good typically about that. They don't make me like work a ton of overtime, but this week I had to. I mean, this week I wanted to make sure we got a good presentation to our clients who are paying us to do the work that we're doing, so I felt compelled to. I didn't have to, but most weekends I don't have to. I'm pretty good about working 40, maybe 45-hour weeks, but this week did end up being closer to like edging up towards like 60. But yeah, hopefully next week will be a little easier. Man, I feel like when I did this before, I tried to record one of these like a week ago, and I like scrapped it. I was like, I wasn't really happy with how it turned out. I think I had more of a script. I don't remember what my script is anymore. Today I was just like, I finally have some time off after my deadline today, even though I have another one on Thursday. Like tonight, I got a couple free hours. I should make some YouTube videos. I should keep my YouTube site going at least a little bit. So I started recording this, and this is where I am now. I'm talking in front of a camera, and I don't know what to say. It's probably been plenty long, so I should probably just stop talking. But yeah, a lot of people over this weekend. They were super cool. It was super fun to play Cube. I got to play a blue-black Tinker deck that was just totally awesome. Somehow, out of the 6 people we had drafting, I was the only one in blue, so I got literally every sweet blue card. I was like, I'll take Treachery, and I'll take... what else did I get? Bribery. I love Bribery. I got all the sweet blue cards, so it was a lot of fun. Yeah, so that was my week. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.